This is the Brandon Smith Show, and I'm your host, Brandon Smith. The entire purpose of this show is one singular thing: to help you live your life that much more free from dysfunction. And so if you're not viewing the show and you're listening to the show, this is our Halloween edition. So for our Halloween edition, we are wearing costumes today. And so for my wonderful producer, Whitney Mendoza, but it's really not Whitney Mendoza today in the studio.
I'm a little bit offended that you said this was a Halloween edition. My producers did not tell me that. They said we're going to talk about scary coworkers.
So, Cher, you are a scary coworker today, or are you just
No,
here
I
to
know
talk?
all about them.
Oh,
Music industry.
okay. So I have Cher as my guest in studio today, and I am Mr. Incredible today.
You're Mr. Incredible every day, Brandon.
Mr. Incredible, that is exactly right. That is exactly right. Thank you very much. That's the only thing saving the show.
Know. I'm Cher every day. I mean, let's be real.
It's true. So, Cher, let's talk a little bit about scary coworkers, because this is the season when people get scary, or not. But what makes a scary coworker? Have you had any encounters of scary coworkers before?
Well, you know, Brandon, if I could turn back time.
That's horrible. That is just horrible.
I would tell you, I'm so glad I went into business for myself. Because there's so many scary coworkers out there.
There are.
The zombies scare me the most.
Zombie coworkers. I worked with a zombie coworker once.
Their eyes twitch. You know, I sang about it's in his kiss. Oh, it's in his eyes.
Wow.
That's a zombie coworker. Sometimes their eyes are like falling out, drooping.
Sometimes they are.
I don't like the zombies or the vampires. The zombies are scary, but the vampires like drain you.
You know how you know you're with a zombie coworker?
Tell us.
First of all, they've been there a really long time, and they don't like the living. They really don't. If you're new, they're not a big fan.
You know what? I've got a really good plastic surgeon I can refer them to.
You really do. I'm sure you know. Actually, I know you do. Actually, Cher, that is the true statement.
I'm really 110.
That's probably true. You may be a zombie yourself. Actually, there could be a no.
I can't talk about that.
You can't talk about that. So, what would you like to talk about today, Cher?
Let's talk more about the vampires and the zombies and the divas. The divas and I get along, but
now that's a scary coworker, and I have a little bit of experience with a diva coworker on my show.
On your show?
I do. She comes on periodically.
Tell me who she is. I'll talk to her when I leave.
Well, I don't like to name names, but she usually sits in the seat you're sitting in right there.
Wow.
And she likes to
Can
look
I
at
get a
herself
seat in
in
here?
the camera. She does. She likes to.
Well,
she loves to.
that maybe I can't.
She
I can't
loves-
blame her on that. I do too.
So divas make it all about them. All about them. You're pruning your hair right now. You're kind of is it pruning, primping, not pruning, primping.
I just touch it. Somebody else primps it for me.
Your hair's not looking very good these days, Cher. Just say it.
I said I had a good plastic surgeon. I didn't
not
say.
looking good at all.
Maybe I need
looks
to
a
go back
little-
to the short style with like curly on top.
Looks a little Halloween store purchase kind of. Just.
Do you want this interview to continue?
not
I'm
good.
getting slightly offended. Okay, so scary coworkers. What about them? How do we handle them? You know, because I feel kind of bad for the people who have to deal with that every day.
Which is pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's got scary coworkers.
Yeah, like I said, music
Zombies.
industry. Don't think that I don't. Just because
Emotional vampires, werewolves.
emotional vampires.
Ghosts.
What are those?
Emotional vampires are my both best and least favorite, because you know you're with an emotional vampire. I may be with an emotional vampire right now, actually.
How do you know?
It's very
like,
possible.
Do you just feel drained? Like, that's how I feel around emotional vampires.
Yeah, you feel drained, and you can feel your energy just sucking out of you.
Yeah.
But what makes an emotional vampire is when you look into their eyes, you can see them getting more and more excited.
So they enjoy draining
Oh,
you?
they're getting the energy.
So wrong.
So the energy's coming from. For those of you listening, Cher just threw her hair back behind her and flipped her head a little bit. Very nice, Cher. Very nice. Emotional vampire or Cher. So the other interesting thing about emotional vampires, and it's something that everyone can be on the lookout for. By the way, I did bring my vampire bobblehead as an illustration. You love this guy.
No, I don't love the guy. I said I know that guy.
Oh, you know that guy.
Yeah.
Well, that may be the case. I don't know. What I have found with emotional vampires is not only do they suck you dry, they don't respect any time limits. So they will keep you however longer than you've designated, and I've had them walk with me all the way out to my car, and hold my car door while I'm trying to get into it, keep me from leaving. Yeah, suck you dry.
I thought that was bodyguards.
Very dangerous. Oh my gosh, Cher, you're out of control. Out of control. I will say, if you have an emotional vampire, your best strategy is talk to him over the phone. No face-to-face conversations.
So how does that? Bye, sorry, you're breaking up.
Yes. So what I should have done with you today is Skyped you in. I would have been much happier than actually having you here in my show today.
Probably would have cost you just the same amount.
Probably would have. So, emotional vampires, messy stuff. Not
Okay,
good.
I'm curious about these ghosts. Are they like what? Empty cubicle, never there? Call in sick all the time, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much what a ghost does.
Maybe I should be a therapist next.
Perhaps you should. So our ghosts are the people that show up. They show up to work at times, and then you're wondering where are they? They're not here. Where'd they go? And they either don't come in on time, don't come in at all. Can't find them when you need information. They ghost. That's what they do.
So how do you talk to them if they're not there? Like, hey, we need to have a meeting. Not there.
You got to figure out how you can contact them because they're ghosts. So
I know how to do that too.
You use like the 21st century version of a Ouija board, and you text them. Mm-hmm. Ghosts respond to text. They respond to text really well.
Why?
They just do.
Interesting.
They respond to text. They don't respond to emails. They don't respond to voicemails, but they respond to text really well.
Wow.
So you text them, and then you can usually track them down a little bit, but it's messier if they're your boss. Then you got a problem.
Ghost boss.
Mm-hmm. Then you can't find them when you need information. And then they have a knack for showing up when you either don't want them to or when they're going to get something. So they'll kind of pop up.
Wow. That's not nice.
No, it's not nice. You look very serious, very concerned about this whole ghost thing.
So I want to ask, so if you are an employee in that situation, what do you do? Where do you go? Do you, take it to the higher ups, or how do you handle that?
If you've got a ghost coworker, then I think you just tell your boss. You say, you don't say, hey, this person's never here. Mm-hmm. That won't go over well. You say, hey, I'm having a hard time getting information from this person or being able to track them down. Can you help me out? Why are you laughing? Don't laugh at Mr. Incredible.
Sorry. I was trying to look at you and your mask. Sorry. You can deduct that off of my bill.
You're throwing me shade.
I mean, you know what I did on the David Letterman show, so it took them 4 years to get me.
I look pretty.
4 years. 4 years, Brandon. Okay, so wait.
You're throwing me shade with my Mr. Incredible costume, and I look pretty incredible.
So wait, let's take me back.
We have a new coworker. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
keep
yeah.
going.
Okay, so because really, coworker, missing coworker, ghost coworker, I get that's a little bit easier to handle. But what if it's your boss? Where do you go, right? Because that would it seems like it would feel awkward to have to go to the next high up to say, hey, my boss is never here.
So the only thing you can do if you have a ghosting boss is you need to set meetings on the calendar with her or him. You're laughing at Mr. Incredible again.
I don't think I can look at you. Okay, keep talking.
How do I not be offended by that? Ladies and gentlemen, our Halloween show, I don't know what to say about this. So you track them down, and then you set up a meeting, and you say, all right, so we're going to meet every Monday at 9 a.m. You have to look me in the eye, Cher. Look me in the eye. Don't look away. Look me in the eye. There we go. That's better. Much better. So you track them down. And you might even say that, look me in the eye. And then they will. Okay? Okay. Are you okay? Okay. All right. I want to talk about another coworker.
I hope the divas are next.
Oh, we're doing divas right
Are
now.
we? Okay,
oh, that's
great.
happening right now.
Okay, great. I know all about these. Shoot.
So divas, when they walk into a room, they make it all about her or him.
Boom.
Yes. Boom is right.
We have an audience today, and they're laughing, which is totally making me laugh. You can deduct that off my bill, too.
They are laughing. I don't think they're laughing with us, just so you know.
They're probably
I don't
not.
think so.
Most people don't, Brandon. Most people don't.
They're not laughing with us
I'm
today.
used to it. I've been dealing with it for, 80 years.
I thought you said you were over 100 years old.
Yeah,
so I guess
but I didn't start, it wasn't like 5 when I got my.
So this is a good example of what a diva coworker does. All this right here.
That's okay.
This whole
That
action
doesn't bother
right there.
me.
They make it all about themselves. And there's always some kind of drama that they create.
Mm-hmm.
So the world surrounds and swirls around them. It's exhausting.
Is it kind of like someone writing a hit song and then you like, oh yeah, I was on that track. And then you don't mention who helped you. Don't do that. It's not very nice. So like a project, if you work together.
That's true.
And
then
like,
the diva
yes.
takes all the credit.
That's not nice.
No, there's some things we can do with divas, but they're very tricky.
Oh, tell us.
After the break.
There's a break?
We're taking a break.
Do I get all my green M&Ms? I only like the green ones.
I need to take an emotional break.
Okay.
From this.
While you're doing that, can someone give me some green M&Ms?
So when we come back, we're going to talk about divas. We're going to talk about how you deal with divas. And I've got more scary coworkers that we got to deal with.
Okay.
And then it gets even worse if it's your boss on all these.
I'm scared of this.
So stay tuned for the Brandon Smith Show. After the break, we come back for our Halloween edition.
Job plus the right culture plus the right boss equals workplace happiness. The number one reason people leave jobs is problems with their boss. A horrible boss can make us dread every Monday, but an amazing boss can make us so excited to work that we'd go in on weekends. Finding your perfect boss is not only possible, it's one of the most impactful steps you can take in crafting your perfect career. Visit theworkplacetherapist.com and click on guides to learn how to find and get your perfect boss, whether that means making the decision to move on or turning your current boss into the perfect leader you want them to be. Our bosses have so much influence over our work and our whole day. Working for the right boss alone can be a winning career strategy.
Welcome back to the Brandon Smith Show. I'm your host, Brandon Smith. For today, Mr. Incredible. And this is our Halloween edition of the Brandon Smith Show. And if you're listening, you don't get to have the pleasure of the awesome craziness that you would see if you were watching the show. So later, check us out on facebook.com/The Brandon Smith Show, WPT. I completely butchered that. And I butchered it because I don't have my glasses on and I can't see.
Would you like me to help?
No, Cher. I don't want your help. I don't want any help right now.
Okay.
Go to theworkplacetherapist.com, go to the Brandon Smith Show, and you can check out videos and you can see us in action. So Cher, you're with us today, and we've already talked about emotional vampires. We've talked about ghosting, and we were on the topic of diva coworkers.
My favorite. Yes.
Obviously, your favorite diva coworkers.
It is. And you were saying something about like how we handle them. How is that?
How you handle a diva coworker. Well, a diva coworker swirls everything around her or him. They've got to make it about them all the time. And so that it can be a challenge. The important thing that you have to do is keep really good boundaries with diva coworkers. Don't leave any opportunity for them to come in and make it all about them. So you have to give them, if they're working with you on a project, give them really clear roles, clear responsibilities. You're laughing again at me and my costume.
You started it.
You're laughing because I'm moving my hands while my muscles aren't moving. Is that why you're?
I was doing really well. That one you're not getting a discount for.
Not getting a
That
discount for
that one wasn't my fault.
Clear boundaries, which we clearly don't have today on this show, is what's necessary with diva coworkers.
So, okay, then I have a question. Clear boundaries. So how do you handle this? And maybe it's more among women, but like, hey, all the girls go out to eat for lunch, or let's say you have a company Christmas party, right? Because that's kind of where like you have to interact and talk about you, because you don't want to talk about work, or there's not a current project. You're just out enjoying yourself. How do you handle that? How do you maintain boundaries
With a diva coworker or with?
Yeah.
So it's okay to do that with a diva coworker if you're going in a pack.
Okay.
But I would never do one-on-one with a diva coworker.
Okay.
Because what will happen is they will suck you into their swirling vortex of stuff.
Okay. So as long as you have your entourage, you're fine.
Entourage will give you
Okay.
the buffer and boundaries.
Okay.
So they're very related to emotional vampires because they are all about kind of sucking your energy and making it about them. But emotional vampires just suck you dry. Divas will bring you into their drama. So imagine just a hurricane swirling around them. And they will suck you into that. And then all of a sudden, they're talking about their family drama, or they're talking about their husband or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it happens to be. And then pretty soon you're in it. It's not good.
I don't like that
You
anymore.
went quiet all of a sudden, like this.
No.
Touched home a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the next one. You said you had more.
Oh, I've got more.
We've done what? Zombies?
We never really did zombies right.
Okay.
We didn't do zombies right. So zombies are coworkers that have been in a place a really long time. They just go through a routine. They move really slow. They like to do it the way they've always done it before. They don't like change. And so when you come in as a new person and you've kind of got these new ideas and you've got this really strong heartbeat, they're not big fans.
You have to reinvent yourself, people.
So
that's how you survive.
So if you're going into a workplace where there's a lot of zombies, you can't stand out too much like you're the newbie and trying to drive change. You got to almost slow your pace down, almost act like you're a zombie.
I wonder what that does to the life of the company. I mean, if you have a lot of zombies working in your company, that means you're not progressively growing.
No, that's very true. That's very profound of you, Cher. I would not have expected such a profound statement.
I told you. I think I may go back to school after this. I think I'm doing pretty good.
I think you're doing just fine.
Thank you.
This is...
What's the next one?
Oh my gosh. Werewolves.
I didn't even think about those.
Werewolves. Horrible. Workplace werewolves. Horrible. They come in and they all of a sudden wolf out and freak out and just attack you.
That's what I had in my
Call you names.
picturing in my head. Yeah.
And then they just flip out.
So how do we handle that? Because usually, I read a couple of your articles before I came on the show today. Okay, free of charge.
You can read, Cher? I was just...
Okay,
that was probably
I had
very inappropriate. I apologize to any Cher fans that may be listening to the show.
I apologize too.
You're begging to sing, aren't you, Cher, too?
You know what? Maybe at the end of the show.
There may be some opportunity at the end of the show for
great.
a little bit of a nugget.
That'd be fantastic. Okay, so I've read some of your articles, and one of the new ones recently said, if you've got like a stressed out coworker or an upset coworker, the last thing you want to do is call them out on being upset or stressed out.
Sure. Right? You could make them wolf out, of course.
Okay, so if they're wolfing out, what do? You just survive until they, go back to being human, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, once they're fully wolfed out, there's nothing you can do. You have to ride that puppy for as long as it's going to go. So wolfing out could mean they just freak out and start calling you names. I had someone tell me, she said she was in a really stressful work environment, and this one boss just kept, it wasn't a boss, it was another kind of colleague, and he just kept doing passive aggressive things. And then she went into his office to try and get something from him. And he was doing passive aggressive things. And then another colleague was in there and he said, well, you just need to leave, come back later. And she said she didn't know what happened, but she just lost it. And she went over and she kicked him really hard.
Is this a true story?
It's a true story.
Oh, okay.
And he just had this stunned look on his face. And then she didn't know what, she was really embarrassed because she didn't mean to physically assault him. But she did. And later she apologized, but naturally things have kind of gone downhill since she kicked him. And of course he made it into a big deal, like, oh, my shin really hurts now. Kind of playing it up. But that's a dynamic of two different kind of scary coworkers. But wolfing out can be physically, you push somebody, you kick somebody, or it can be you yell and scream. And they'll pretend like they didn't do it later. They'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. They won't apologize. So what you have to have is you have to have witnesses. Witnesses have to have seen the actual werewolf attack.
You know what I'm discovering, Brandon?
What are you discovering, Cher?
Your world is not that much different from mine, I'm telling you. I see this all the time.
Do you? What do you see?
The werewolfing out. And then, the lashing out. And then the next time you see them on the red carpet, it's like, you're fine.
There's medication for all these things. You know this, Cher, right? There's medication.
Everyone, go take care of yourself.
Now, it gets really bad if the person who is the culprit of any of these scary coworker traits is the boss. So your boss is the zombie. Your boss is the emotional vampire. Your boss is the werewolf.
Emotions are contagious, Brandon.
Emotions are contagious, Cher. It's very true. And so if that's the case, then we've got real big issues. And then if you think your boss is one of these that I just described, your best strategy is probably, first, set boundaries. So protect yourself. Do as much virtual work as you can. Don't be in their presence because
that's a good
it's
tip.
unpredictable and they can control a lot. And then second, you might want to start looking for another job. Find another home free from scary coworkers.
Or go into business for yourself.
Or share lookalikes. And whatever works for you will make things a little bit healthier. So you mentioned you might have a life hack for us today.
I have a question, Brendan.
Oh, we have a quick question from Isaac,
do we?
one of our
I
producers.
love questions.
Yes, sir. So how do you handle the coworkers that don't have an identity?
Oh, say more about that. What do you mean?
So let's say they play, I guess they're in the corporate, they're trying to go up the corporate ladder, but you never know who they are. So like either they're on your team or they're not on your team, or just are like they could hop from one team to another.
Okay, so they're like the chameleons. They they can change their form and change their allegiance.
So one day they could be the vampire, depending on the situation. So let's say there's like a group of people that are vampires. So you have to work with the vampires, but then you see that coworker being the vampire that day, and then tomorrow, so you're in different projects, and tomorrow's a different day with different coworkers, and he turns it differently.
I think the key to that is know that about them and keep distance. So I think we're getting a theme here of keep distance and boundaries, and make sure you don't do anything that might cause them to backstab you or hurt you. So I think you want to be very defensive with them. Don't be too aggressive, because coworkers like that, they're really good about kind of quickly growing into other cliques and then whispering in people's ears. So I'll give you kind of a great story. I had he used to be a partner in Accenture, and he had this one coworker that was like what you described, Isaac, and the coworker just kind of didn't like him and was really good at kind of going in with different cliques and whispering in people's ears. And this individual, my friend, did not really care about trying to fix that relationship. He said, I don't care. The guy doesn't like me. I don't like him either. So one day, that guy was in the buffet line with the CEO of Accenture. And the CEO turned to that guy and said, well, what do you think about my friend? And that guy turned to him while they were getting chicken in the buffet line and said, I don't like him at all. He's horrible. And started rattling off all these horrible things about him. And then next week, my friend got demoted. So you got to be really careful about those kind of chameleons, that you don't do anything that can cause you problems when they start morphing into other groups.
Oh, and then let's say if that's your boss. I mean, in the sense of your boss doesn't have an identity, Like he goes, because I've seen there are different kinds of bosses. They just follow the flow.
Yep.
And
so that's a politician. That's more of like your corporate politician type. And then that case, you just have to try and figure out what they want and try and help them get there. And then they won't do anything damaging to you. Otherwise, they're just going to be very unpredictable.
It's a great topic. Yeah.
Good questions. Don't you think those are good questions, Cher?
That was fantastic.
I think that was fantastic. My producer's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice not having my other producer around today because she causes problems.
I'm glad I could be here.
I
really am. I'm honored that you invited me on.
So I always ask all my guests, Cher, for a life hack. So a life hack on how we can eliminate dysfunction in our lives. So what would be your life hack today?
So, sooner or later.
You really like your hair, don't you? You just keep touching your hair.
I had it short for a while, and I finally grew it back out, and I'm kind of digging it. Okay, this is my life hack. I hope that all your listeners and watchers are ready, because this is coming straight from Cher.
Straight from Cher, folks.
Sooner or later, we all sleep alone. And I will tell you, don't let that be Halloween, okay? And if you are alone on Halloween, don't listen. Look, Michael Jackson.
So you're promoting people to find someone to sleep with on Halloween. This is what I'm hearing.
No, I didn't get to finish the rest of my life hack. I wasn't done. Because what I was saying was, if you are alone on Halloween, okay? Look, I have friends. I'll go out with my friends, and then, maybe we all go separately home, right? Like, whatever. Maybe you're by yourself. Look, Michael Jackson's my good friend, and I always told him, Michael, Thriller is so scary to me.
I'm not following anything you're saying, Cher. I don't know where. Is there some bit of life hack in here? All I heard in here was find someone to sleep with on Halloween.
Don't get scared. No, it's don't get scared on Halloween.
Scared.
And you know how you get scared on Halloween? Look, I told Michael, I knew him back from the Jackson 5. And I told him, I was like, Michael, I can only listen to Thriller like in the summer, in the middle of the day. In the middle of the day, Michael, because you look so real. You look so real, like a zombie. You know what?
Real or real? Real.
Look, listen, though, you should probably, it's too bad you can't show that video on this episode, because that encompasses every one of these scary coworkers that we just talked about. Every single one of them is in that music video.
So here's what I heard in this life hack. I'm going to try and interpret it in a way that is productive.
No, I'm not promoting that you go sleep with someone. If you believe in life after love, then that's it's totally up to you.
Okay, well,
don't blame that on me.
Don't be lonely. Go find friends. Don't be scared to be alone.
Yeah, enjoy Halloween. Enjoy your workplace. But you know what? If these are the people that are there, you need to take care of yourself.
So, folks, happy Halloween. This was the Brandon Smith Show. Thank you, Cher, for coming on the show today.
I enjoyed it.
Follow us, of course, every week. I would read off where you could follow us on social media, but I can't see. So since I don't have my glasses on, I would say keep up the fight. Of course, you can listen to us on iTunes, and you know where to find us on Facebook. Go to the workplacetherapist.com for more resources and ways to keep in touch, because at the end of the day, our workplace shouldn't have to suck. So keep up the great fight. Have a great week, awesome life, and an incredible Halloween. Did you like how I threw in incredible like that? Cher, would you like to close us with a little bit of song?
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way.
Until next week, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.